pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brennan?
Here.
Councilmember Durr will be absent. Councilmember Vogel?
Here.
Councilmember Barnett? Here. Councilmember Stanko?
Here.
And Councilmember Spencer will be joining us by phone. Council President Davis.
Here. Okay, for tonight's meeting, there was an executive session held to discuss potential litigation matters. Are there any public comments as they relate to agenda items?
Yes, Gregory Krutayarski, 41 Cardinal Road. I just scrolled my letter to members of the council. I have to come here because somebody cannot hear me now. My public comments at September 25 Fire and Police Committee meeting are missing from the October 10 Borough Council meeting minutes, where they are included the minutes of the committee. And the new item requested by Mr. Jenkins added to the agenda of the same Fire and Police Committee is also missing from the minutes. My public comments in special Borough Council meeting from September 25 are falsified. It's all in the paper that I asked to be distributed to all council members, and I emailed to all council members and to the mayor. Falsifying my words and falsifying minutes of the meetings fits the definition of corruption. Corruption is dishonest or fraudulent conduct by those in power, and the process by which something, typically a word or expression, is changed from its original use or meaning to one that is regarded as erroneous or debased. So this is definition from Oxford vocabulary, Oxford languages. I have a question to Mr. Jenkins. If it is done on purpose, it is corruption and corruption and corruption. If it is done not on purpose and you are not in power of this borough, you should resign. Especially you are in power of the Fire and Police Committee for 7 years, as far as I know, at least. Every time I'm saying something, my words are distorted. And this time, look, it says in the minutes that someone who parked in the restricted parking area are given the opportunity to move, while others are not given the opportunity to move. They were not given the opportunity to move. They allowed to stay without being ordered to move, which is violation of the Pennsylvania code, and is not allowed by Pennsylvania law. Then, when I said that the ticket to Mr. Jadik was issued 2 months after the event, it is not the same as 2 weeks, which is inserted into the minutes. And why I said so? Because I wanted the Wyomissing police to issue citation to the gentleman who parked his car in no parking zone on September 14th. I was asking it. It was in my speech, but my speech was totally missing from the minutes of Fire and Police Department, Fire and Police Committee. I want to say a lot here, but I have only 5 minutes. I cannot say more. I want to thank the new police chief who is doing his best to be on the right side of the law. However, I want to say that having this tradition of issuing tickets to Mr. Jadik 2 months later, it's also the opportunity to give the same to the guests of 47 Cardinal Road. I know you will not do it. shows your attitude to,
1 minute remaining, sir.
okay, I will use this minute just to ask you a question. Are you afraid to put the truth in the documents, Mr. Jacobs? Are you afraid? To me, it seems you're just afraid of the truth being published. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You wish to comment?
Let me speak to your comment briefly, Mr. Krudliarski. The Sunshine Law has a rule about what minutes of public meetings must contain. And the primary purpose of minutes is to record the official actions of the Borough Council, which are the actions that the council takes to move forward the business of the borough. Now, there is a requirement for public comment to be allowed. But with regard to public comment, what the Sunshine Law says very simply is that the names of all citizens who appeared officially, and I read that to mean that you expressed a request to make public comment. So in that sense, you are appearing officially. So that your name must be recorded in the minutes that you said, I want to make a public comment. And then it says, and the subject of their testimony. So there is no requirement that there be a verbatim, word for word recitation of what anyone who makes public comment says. It is not a stenographic record that you would have in a court hearing. So what I think might be occurring here is that because the preparation of the minutes involves a summary of what you have said, there are necessarily things that are omitted that you may wish were included, but in the preparation of a summary, things were, it was a selective process to omit and not omit. So I believe that in order to avoid an objection, as you have raised tonight, about the preparation of the minutes, that it would be better for the council to limit what is stated in the minutes about public comment to only what the Sunshine Law requires. And that is to have a statement of the subject of your testimony, which in this case would be, in my opinion, the subject of your testimony being an objection to the way council has stated its minutes at prior meetings. That would be the subject of what you have stated tonight. So I just want you to be aware that it is not legally required for the council to have a lengthy statement of everything that you brought to the meeting. That is not legally required. And in order to avoid concerns by you or anyone else about omissions from the minutes, my recommendation to council is going to be that the minutes regarding public comments be limited to only listing who appeared and presented public comments and what the subject of their comments was, rather than a summary of the entire statement, which is not legally required.
Can I answer?
No,
It's
we're not,
discussion.
no, we're not
It
going
is
to a
discussion
debate.
now. By
Is there any
Sunshine
other
Law,
public comments?
by the law, I am allowed to
Would you
answer
please
the
sit down?
discussion.
No, this is
No.
not a comment period.
Okay.
Are there any other public comments?
I would just like to say I am fully in support of taking the refuse and recycling committee and creating a board or a commission with a lot of residents that are eco-conscious and willing to push Wyomissing forward into an environmental standard.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Sir,
I saw on the minutes that there's gonna be time.
please give your name and address.
Matt Berger, 1218 Van Steffi Avenue. I saw on the minutes that there's gonna be time later to discuss the parking lot proposition for the Stonehouse Park.
Yes,
Is that correct, and this is not the time to comment on that?
that is, you may make your 5-minute public comment now or wait until we have that specific on the agenda.
I'll wait.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
I
a
think it's.
public comment section. Yes, that's what I thought. Yes, public comment. Are there any other public comments?
Well, since we're talking trash, my comment is about trash.
Please stand up and identify yourself.
Good evening. My name is Adrian Jadik. I'm here to address once more the issue of borough's tax structure. The 555 annual fee, a significant leap from the previous 250, has transitioned from a service fee to a hidden hefty tax, disproportionately affecting our community. This flat tax system not only creates an unfair burden, but also discourages residents from adopting waste-reducing practices, and I am also in favor of creating such practices. By charging everyone the same fee, regardless of their trash output, we inadvertently disincentivize efforts like composting, recycling, and buying bulk, which are crucial to environmental sustainability. To use an example, in Berkshire Heights, we may, and again, it's not just Berkshire Heights, but using that as an example. There are many row homes that generate minimal yard waste. Residents are unfairly charged the same as high acreage properties. This effectively is a scenario where the less affluent are subsidizing the wealthier residents, a clear inequity in our tax system. And by the way, they might go to Florida, but the yard waste is still produced and in large quantities. Addressing comments from previous meetings, Councilmember Steve Brunner's point about multi-million homeowners residing in Florida for parts of the year overlooks the fact that yard waste is a year-round issue managed by landscaping contractors irrespective of the homeowner's presence. His argument lacks empirical data. You didn't tell me how many is this. You just pulled out a reason out of thin air. His argument lacks empirical data to justify this policy. Similarly, Finance Committee member John Gallan's comparison of a trash tax to police costs is not a valid parallel. Police services are funded through millage taxes, which are inherently proportional to property values, unlike our current flat trash tax. I propose we eliminate this flat trash and instead adopt the millage increase. This approach would at least more fairly distribute costs, taking into consideration the varying amounts of refuse and yard waste generated by each property based on its size and value. In conclusion, I urge the Council to reconsider our current tax structure for waste management. A shift to a millage-based system would be a significant step towards a fairer, more equitable approach reflecting the actual waste generation of each property and promoting environmentally friendly practices. I want to say I am for something that makes more sense. But this is a minimum, a proposal for a minimum way to deal with the issue. Flat tax is not the answer here. And I have friends and relatives around the world. France, Germany, they all pay for their trash through the property tax, not through a flat tax, because it comes to reason that a larger property generates more than a tiny property. Yes, it does. Or a tiny apartment. Yes, it does.
Are there any other public comments?
Rick Weinhofer, 801 North 9th Street. I also just want to speak in favor of refuse and recycling if there is a more eco way forward to bring more residents involved in the topics.
Fine.
Thank you. Any other Okay, I don't see any, so we will move forward. Okay, before you have the council minutes of November the 14th and also of the conditional use hearing minutes of November the 15th. And I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay. Consulting engineers report, Mr. McCarthy, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I believe everything's covered in the report. If you have any additional questions above that, there's a couple things regarding construction, with Jim Babb that I can add for him since he's under the weather tonight.
Anybody have anything for Jim?
He's done yet.
Yeah.
I believe next Monday is the last day for leaf pickup. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve this.
Second.
motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? The ayes have it. The police chief and mayor's report, Chief Phillips and Mr. Mayor.
I have nothing further to add this evening. The chief will give a summary of his report and be glad to entertain your questions.
Good evening, everyone. For the month of November, we were available for a total of 3,537 hours of on-duty time. We handled a total of 608 calls during the month. 134 of those were in our our business districts, and 31 were in our residential districts. For those 608 calls, it took us an average of 4.4 minutes to arrive on location, and we spent an average of 32.7 minutes on each assignment. The training that we conducted during the month was a completion of the supervisor training that was run through the Greater Reading Chamber. A PA-DUI Association conference was attended, and our new officer is going through his training. Police One Academy training consisted of hate crime investigation and community policing strategies. During the month, we gave assistance a total of 22 times and received it a total of 14 times. We had these traffic signs up on State Hill Road at Wellington and at Old Mill at Tanninger. Speed limit on State Hill is 40 miles per hour and at Old Mill is 25. The 85th percentile speed on State Hill Road was found to be 30.65 and on Old Mill 26.69. The signs have been taken down now because of the temperatures dropping at nighttime and just killing the batteries. They last about 2 days and that's it. So we'll keep them in until springtime, warmer weather. The conditional items needed to complete the promotional process for both the lieutenant and sergeant positions have been completed by all. I know that the drug screening information has been received. Everything, as I stated at Fire Police, was fine with all three officers with that. The psychologicals have been also completed. I have not received those reports as of yet, but I've been told verbally that they were fine. So everything that they needed to do to complete that process is now done. I wanted to make mention of the bomb threat that was received on October 13th at the synagogue on Warwick Drive. Our detectives have been investigating that. As part of that investigation, we found that there were several issued throughout the Commonwealth on that same day. Our incident, as well as the others, have been turned over to the FBI for any additional follow-up that might occur. And throughout the month, we participated in 2 events at the junior senior high school. The first was Career Day on the 8th of November, and on the 20th, we gave a variety of safety lectures to both the 7th and 8th grade classes. Throughout the month, the top incidents are listed there. They're pretty much the same every month, with traffic stops being the highest. This month, disorderly conduct was at the lowest. We investigated a total of 64 accidents. We gave a combined total of 220 citations, parking tickets, and warnings. We arrested 39 individuals. We dealt with one wanted subject. There were 39 UCR offenses, which brings our calls for incidents other than crimes at 569. I have the breakdown of our UCR offenses. You can see for the year now we're at 585 total with 432 cleared, so we're sitting at 74% clearance rate. So when you look at our comparison for the last couple of years, we're where we were at 2019. I expect us to have a good return this year with our clearance rates. We consumed just over 885 gallons of fuel and patrolled just over 8,200 miles. Between all of our fines, reports requested, OT reimbursements, and grant reimbursements, we brought in just under $11,000. Our busiest time for the month was in the 10 o'clock p.m. hour at 48, and our busiest day of the month was Thursday at 120. For our arrests, retail theft was the incident in which we made the most arrests, followed by DUIs. I then have the reports for the speeds on State Hill and Grandview Boulevard, or I'm sorry, Old Mill Road reports. So if anybody has any questions on this, I'd be glad to answer this time.
Any questions of the police chief?
Retail theft, mom and pop stuff, or is this Walmart, larger box stores?
Larger box stores mostly, yes.
Are we seeing that activity, that these groups from out of state that are, we're hearing about in Philadelphia, that are, we seen that up here?
Some, yes, we see that a lot.
Great. Any other questions for the chief? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve.
So,
Motion and second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Yeah, you have it. You okay, Dave?
If I may, I'd like to just say one more thing. I was outside the report. You may have noticed in the call activity logs of an incident that we had on the 8th of this month, which was the other day. We had an incident where a newspaper carrier noticed mail and papers just piling up at a residence and contacted us, and with the help of the fire company, we were able to make entry to check on the well-being of the resident. We found that the resident was actually on the floor. She was on the floor for several days, unable to contact anybody for help or to get up. I think it's quite likely, I mean, a lot of people may have just kept walking, didn't care, but he took an extra step, put some effort. You know, he was concerned. He acted on those concerns, which, quite honestly and unfortunately, is rare, I think, today. I have spoken to the son of our resident that this happened to. The person's in the hospital, but faring, doing well, getting better. And has gotten sick while in the hospital with COVID, unfortunately. But I've spoken to the son about this, and I've made mention to some that I would like to recognize this individual before council next month. I've spoken with him about that and my desire to do that. He's amicable about coming before council to have that happen. So I'm hoping at the January meeting we'll be able to do that as well.
Very good. Thank you. As I said to the chief earlier about this, you know, it goes to say about, you know, keep an eye on your neighbors, especially, you know, any elderly individuals, and saying that Steve's been doing a great job, you know, but also the saying that we see, if you see something that looks out of place, strange, you know, say something to somebody. Very good. Look forward to that next month. Okay, moving on to the fire chief's report. The chief is not here. It's pretty much self-explanatory. There are 156 calls to service. Out of those, 20 were fires, followed by the majority were rescue and motor vehicle accidents. There were a total of 110 calls in the borough, 23 to Spring Township, and total responses outside of the borough in spring were 23. There's also 110,000 in fire damage for the month, which I'll assume the majority of that was from the apartment fire. And last is total response for the year is 1,719. Any questions on the chief's report? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, on the committee reports, and we'll start with infrastructure. Mr. Bruder.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. The Infrastructure Committee met on November 20th, and obviously we have some items to act upon. The first one is the committee is making a recommendation to approve payment, application number 2, in the amount of $37,544.13 to PSI Pumping Solution for the Berkshire Boulevard Pump Station. And I'll go ahead and make that motion. Second.
Motion and second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
Moving on, the committee is recommended to approve awarding Wexcom Inc. The portion of the West Lawn Interceptor work running directly parallel to the Spring Township Interceptor in the amount of $102,500 even. And I will make that recommendation.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
Council President Jenks?
Yes.
It's two, four, okay, the committee has recommended, authorizing the easement agreements for Spring Township for the Spring Township Interceptor project, subject to the borough solicitor, review. And I'm gonna make the recommendation that we table that motion for the moment.
Second.
We have a motion and second to table the Spring Township Interceptor project. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay. Item 5 is the committee has recommended to approve payment application number 5 in the amount of $11,856.75 to Sewer Specialty Services, Inc. for the cleaning and televising. And I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Motion and second, all those in favor, or excuse me, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
Okay. Next one is the committee is making a recommendation to approve payment application number 1 in the amount of $37,980 even to Construction Master Services LLC for the pedestrian bridge deposit. And I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko? Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
Good. Committee is recommending approval of payment application number 1 in the amount of $4,500 to A.H. Moyer, Inc. for the Public Works Garage Plumbing Services. Make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
Okay. The motion is also, or the committee is also recommending payment, application number 1 in the services amount of $4,050 to A.H. Moyer for Public Works Services, HVAC or HVAC services. And I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on, the motion is, a committee is recommending to approve awarding Parkland's Natural Resources Stewardship Plan
to Flora Teeter and Berks Nature at a cost not to exceed $39,960. I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Motion and second, roll call please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks.
Yes.
Okay. Item 10 is, the committee is recommending council to authorize McCarthy Engineering to prepare a survey of the proposed easements in the area of around 1901 Cambridge Boulevard or Cambridge Avenue. And I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay. Do I have to read the resolution?
Just the highlight.
So yes.
Yes.
Okay, and item 11 is resolution 2023-28, a resolution of the council of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, authorizing the borough to enter into an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the Borough of West Reading for cooperative sharing of road maintenance equipment and manpower. So the committee is making a recommendation to approve resolution 2023-28.
You make the-
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution number 2023-28 is approved.
I respectfully ask that you approve the infrastructure committee report.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Well done. Okay. Moving on to library board. Mr. Reeser,
Yes.
library
Thank
board.
you, Mr. Chairman. The library board met on Monday, 11/2023. The minutes are self-explanatory. I have no further comments regarding the minutes. I make a recommendation to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Recreation board, Mrs. Barnett.
I'll just ask Randy to make a few comments in a minute, but I would like to thank everybody who attended and participated in the lighting of the greens. Rick, you were exceptional as always in the amount of time that you volunteered. Chief, I appreciate you come in. Fire department was very helpful. Appreciate Mr. Jenks coming, Mr. Bruner coming with your daughter. Appreciate the petitioners coming. Greg, appreciate seeing you there. That was a great event and a good kickoff to the holiday season. Randy, would you like to add anything?
As Janet just said, thank you to everybody who did. Council President Jenks, you were your expertise in stepping in and handling, working with the fire department in general, police department, everybody was very helpful with our propane snafu. Overall, I thought it was a well-attended event and heard very favorable comments. A lot of people surprised me with how many people were there. But a big thank you to everybody from the board members, council members, fire department as well. Right now, we're working on we're about to do our second Holiday Lights run, it's tomorrow night. Last week, we had our first one in Berkshire Heights. We had almost 60 attendees, which is almost double what we had last year. Tomorrow night, the Wyomissing Hills Citizen Social Committee is bringing hot cider and snacks. And it's a onesies, if anybody wants to show up in their holiday onesies and run and or walk. It's not gonna be that cold, so we welcome you. And next week is holiday PJs, and it'll be in Old Wyomissing. Fleet Beat has been a great partner with that as well in donating prizes. From a programming standpoint, working with Judy Hawk from Spring Township, she has sent out a request to 7 different townships and boroughs requesting information on everybody's playground information, and I'll be sharing with everybody once we get it compiled. Shillington, Sinking Springs, West Reading, Exeter, South Heidelberg, and Spring. Both the playground and pool will be starting our recruiting and hiring process in January. With our rec board, we have Kristen Kawajowski has accepted or extended her term with the board. We have opening nominations for another member to fill a vacancy. And we'll look to add the student advisory group in early spring back to the committee. That's about all I have for updates. Any questions?
Any questions?
Make a motion
Before we get there, I just want to personally commend, I mean, that was very outstanding. Been to many of those, and this was by far most attended, you know, at the lighting of the greens. And very well done. And the thank you notes that you sent out, I thought was a nice professional touch after that. So
Thank you.
a job well done to you and your staff.
Thank you.
Now I'll entertain that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to the Fire and Police Committee meeting. Just under some quick things, under Fire Department, the average turnout time leaving the station was 1 minute and 55 seconds, which is well below the NFPA standard, so nice job. With an average on-scene time of 16 minutes and 26 seconds. No Narcan was administered for the month. Chief Hackman had briefly reported on the November 28th fire, which was came in as a porch fire with possible entrapment with some extension. According to this, the Wyomissing crew was able to rescue 2 adults and 1 child, and 1 more adult once the fire at the main access point into the unit was extinguished. Again, job well done from the fire department for all those that were there. Good job. You know, we may be small, but you know, we got a hell of a police department. We got a hell of a fire department, and I'll put them up against anyone. The borough manager, Michelle Baer, shared with the committee that the fire chief's position description was sent to the committee for review and provide comments. After the fire chief, Michelle and myself met to review this, there was a motion, not requiring a vote, that by the committee to send the recommendation for the chief's position description shared with personnel committee, and that has been sent, and waiting to finalize on that.
That's only
So under Western Berks Ambulance, they responded to 249 calls for service within the borough, and another that's not listed here, but I just want to mention that the borough has chosen, for those who may not yet be aware, that we now have a borough-wide membership. And we've received numerous thank you notes from residents that the borough has taken over the membership. And this goes for a number of reasons. So, in other words, if you get, you require an ambulance for anything, you will not be billed for that, because we are paying for that. If you are in another area of the county and require emergency medical services, if you tell them you are a resident of Wyomissing under the membership program, Western Berks Ambulance will honor that membership. So it's a win-win situation for everyone, and this council is certainly very happy to do that. So, under the police department, Chief Phillips had a request for the Armed Forces Day Parade scheduled for May 18th, and the committee is recommending that approval, and I'll make that motion to council.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? The ayes have it. Oh. Okay, and last under Westside Emergency Management, Tom Boucher reminded the committee that newly elected officials, training will be held on January the 31st. And also reminded the committee that NIMS training should be completed by the new officials and borough employees as soon as possible. Now comes the best time. Are you done hearing me talk yet? You want to hear me talk a little more?
You continue.
I have before me, or a resolution number 2023-35, a resolution of the Council of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, congratulating Captain Ethan J. Holmes on his successful completion of the Executive Fire Officers Program, and in recognition of the dedication and commitment of Captain Ethan J. Holmes to the fire service and to the Borough of Wyomissing. Well done. Oh, my mouth feels better. I needed to say that, your class was how large?
We graduated 24?
24.
Yes, sir.
Since this has been going on for several years, there's only 68 fire officers in Pennsylvania that have gone through this course. Correct me if I'm wrong, nationwide, there's less than 4,800
Yes, sir.
that have gone through this. These are the people and the minds that are what develop ideas to keep the fire service progressive, to teach us new ways, new procedures, and to develop procedures, okay, both in writing and creating law. So, this isn't just, he sat down in his computer for a couple hours and did this. This was a
18 months.
18-month program. You are to be commended, sir. Thank you. Okay, oh, wait a minute. Nobody even made that motion to approve that, so.
I'll make the motion.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Again, Captain, congratulations.
Congratulations again. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Fire and Police Committee report. So, motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, Refuge and Recycling Committee, Mr. Reeser.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee met on November 30th. Borough administration is satisfied with forward performance. I'd like to make a motion to table terminating the Refuse and Recycling Committee is simultaneously replaced by a board or commission with a composition including a majority of residents to discuss environmental issues, refuse, recycling, and yard waste.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This issue shall be tabled for further discussion. Is there
And I
anything?
further make a motion to approve the Refuse and Recycling Committee report.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Reeser.
You bet.
Finance and Administration Report, Mr. Brunner.
All right. I'm gonna take your no-nos. Net results for November, expenses exceeding revenues by almost $1.1 million. Year-to-date expenses, net exceed revenues by just over $1 million for a negative variance of just over $2.3 million, compared to 2022. November expenses, the year-to-date revenue after expenses of over that $1 million, decreases the fund balance to just under $11 million, of which $2.2 million is reserved, and $8.697 million is unreserved. Just want to remind everybody that some of the reserves are for bike route donations, future route maintenance, the balance of grant funds that to be used towards the maintenance of the police body and vehicle cameras, the pedestrian bridge, the Cambridge culvert, West Lawn interceptor, traffic studies, the Stonehouse project, as well as reserve funds for the sale of the fire apparatus for future fire apparatus. So just want to make sure everybody remembers we do have a reserve, but there's a good portion of that is going to be spent in the near future. Public Works Garage is ongoing. So far, year to date, $262,000. More to come on that. But just want to give you a quick overview. Our taxes this year, the tax collector report is attached, but we received 97.48% of all total tax collections. So that's just a basic overview of where we stand. I'll get better at that as time goes on if I need to. Then we get into the actual meat and potatoes of the meeting. The first thing is ordinance number 1438-2023, an ordinance of the Borough of Wyomissing, County of Berks, Commonwealth, Pennsylvania, fixing the tax rates. I'm going to make a motion that we table that ordinance number 1438-2023. Second.
We have a motion and a second to table ordinance number 1438-2023. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. That motion is tabled.
Okay. Just so we know that with that motion, when we do act upon it, there is going to be an increase the way it looks if nothing changes between now and then for both the general fund and addition of a road tax. We can get that discussion at that time. Then we have a motion to approve the business manager to hold $4 million of the December 23 maturing Pliget funds into a Pliget prime account until the funds are needed. I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes,
Councilmember Vogel?
table that.
This is like, this is,
That's okay. Sorry. Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Stango?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
Okay. The committee is also recommending the business manager to draw the Tompkins General Obligation Note in the amount of $55,147.68 for the expenditures incurred on the Public Works Garage for October, November, and December as previously approved or pending the council approval. And need someone to make that motion.
We have a motion
I'll second that. John, second.
and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Abstain?
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Stango?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
Council President Jenks?
Yes.
you're going to say you're abstaining because,
And just for everybody's note, the reasoning that I have abstained is I am an employee of Tompkins Financial, so that is the reason for my abstention. Let's put that way. Very good. Okay. All right, then we have resolution 2023-29, a resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, appointing Herbine Company, Inc. as the independent auditor of the Borough of Wyomissing. And I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Resolution number 2023-29 carries.
The committee is making a motion to approve accepting the Herbine Company audit fee, Herbine and Company Inc. audit fee of $17,850, and I'll make that motion. Second.
Motion and second, roll call.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
Council President Jenks?
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 2023-30, resolution of the council of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, amending the water rates. I'll make the motion to approve adopting resolution 2023-30 as establishing the 2024 water rates for the borough water distribution system, which does exclude Wyomissing Hills as they are served by a for-profit Pennsylvania American Water. I just want to be clear, we're passing that through so that the residents of Wyomissing Hills are not paying that for their general millage. So I'll make that motion. Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Resolution 2023-30 passes.
Resolution 2023-31, a resolution of the Borough of Wyomissing revising and updating the borough's fee schedule, which was attached, and I'll go ahead and make the motion to adopt resolution 2023-31. Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Resolution number 2023-31 is approved.
Okay, we have committees making a recommendation to approve the 2024 meeting dates for advertisement. That was included in our packets, and I'll go ahead and take that motion. Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay. The rec committee is making a recommendation to approve authorizing the borough solicitor to prepare the appropriate resolutions to update the bank signers, as well as initiate a new bank account for the road tax fund. Here's what we do.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
And I abstain. And the reason for my abstention is because I am an employee of Tompkins Financial.
Motion passes.
The committee is making a recommendation to is making a recommendation to deny the request of property owner at 1804 Reading Boulevard to reduce the invoice amount for the engineering fees charged to the property owner of $276.37. So we are making a recommendation that we are not lowering that fee. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of denying the request for the engineering fees?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay. Motion or request is denied.
Okay. And then the committee is making a recommendation to approve an appraisal being performed at the Public Works property at 601 North 4th Street to allow the value of the land to be used towards the match funding required for the RACP grant. Just to note is this will just benefit us because we are getting the RACP, the funding will help us with more funding from the government versus our taxpayers paying for it. So I'll make the recommendation to approve.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And I respectfully submit a motion to approve the Finance and Admin Committee report.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Good job. Okay, moving on to the Borough Manager's report. Mrs. Bear.
Good evening, council. The Western Berks Water Authority board minutes were received earlier today, were emailed out to you, so you should have all received them. The joint municipal authority meeting minutes from August through November of this year were also provided in your council packets. I am, if you give me a second to scroll to it, respectfully requesting a motion to approve advertising ordinance number 1439-2023 to repeal Part 6, Section 606.B.3.C of Chapter 27, the Borough Zoning Ordinance, related to setbacks for certain types of temporary signs.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 1439-2023 may be advertised.
Respectfully requesting a motion for council to adopt resolution number 2023-32, a resolution of the council of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, in recognition of the dedication and contributions of Eric Donahue to the borough.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you, Eric.
Resolution number 2023-32 is approved with our thank you. He served
Quite
a
a while.
long time, and I guess now he's moving down to a little warmer weather in South Carolina to sell property down there.
Yes. Out of respect for Councilmember Reeser not being able to join us tonight, I respectfully request we table action on resolution number 2023-33 so that he can join us in person at the January meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor to table?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2023-33 is tabled.
And same for resolution 2023-34, recognizing Keith Durr for his contribution. I would respectfully request we table that until the January meeting.
So moved.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion 2023-34 is tabled.
For council's information, a 2003 Ford F-350 was sold on municipal to a Brian Kreiner for $4,401, and a 2012 Dodge Charger was sold to a Brittany Adams for $6,600. Friendly reminder, Borough Hall will be closed on December 25th and 26th in observance of the Christmas holiday, and on January 1st in observance of New Year's. And finally, I just wanted to say a special thanks to borough staff, especially police and fire. It's been a crazy year. There was a lot of things that came out of left field that kind of had to be dealt with at last minute's notice, and staff across the board in all departments did a tremendous job of handling that and responding. And I know in my speaking to some of them about what they do in the course of doing their jobs, to them it's just a job, to me it's something I would never be able to do. So I just wanted to take a minute to recognize them and to also wish all staff and council a very happy holiday season.
Thank you. Like that. Thank you. Thank you.
And that, those sentiments certainly go to, back to the hall staff too. This council could not do what it does without the teamwork and support. So thank you.
We're here to
Motion
serve.
to approve the borough manager's report. Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, in your packet is the treasurer's statement of operation, which includes the general fund, Bureau of Water, sewer fund, highway aid, refuse recycling fund, and the road tax fund. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. You also have the accounts payable report, which includes the general fund, Bureau of Water, sewer fund, refuge recycling fund. And entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion second, roll call please.
Councilmember Burner?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Senko? Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes. Okay, and you also have the tax collector's report, so entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. That concludes our committees. We are now ready to entertain public comments as they relate to the Stonehouse Park project. Are there any public comments? Please give your name, your address, and a reminder that you have 5 minutes.
Okay. Matt Berger, 1218 Van Steffi. I don't really have much to say about this. I'm unfortunately found out about it only recently, and I don't know the details of the rationale behind why the decision was made to go forward with this parking lot. I do want to just raise the concerns that one, as the as the number of people who have signed on to the petitions related to this issue indicates that there are a number of people, I believe, who feel that this will be a negative impact on the beauty of the park and on that street. I don't understand exactly why we would need a 12-space parking lot. There is no shortage of parking at that area. I understand there are ADA concerns involved, but I don't believe we need 12 ADA spaces. So, so it seems like a larger lot than what is required. And I also question why, how we need ADA parking on that side, given that that would only provide access to the upper floor of the stone house, because there's no good accessible way to get from that parking space to the rest of the park. So I believe those spaces only serve the use of the stone house upper floor. And I don't know how much a 12 parking space lot costs, but my guess is it's a significant portion of the $460,000 grant we're trying to protect. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you. And we're going to wait here for public comments on this. Then I have a few comments I wish to make, and I'm sure some other council members may also on this subject. So, sir?
William Peterson, I reside at 1235 Parkside Drive North. Nice to see you again. We have to stop meeting this way. First of all, we're thankful that on December 1st, the borough shared the Stonehouse Park project on the borough website. Second, we are in favor of the plan except for the proposed Stonehouse parking lot. Third, since the petition began only 2 weeks ago, there are now considerably more than only 3 Wyomissing residents that are opposed to the standard parking in the proposed Stonehouse parking lot. Fifth, the Stonehouse newsflash on the borough website stated, and I quote, that no retaining wall or boulder wall is proposed around the perimeter of the parking lot, even though 2 of them are shown on the plan dated April 29, 2021, that is linked to the article. They were also on the plan this past November 6th during a meeting with the borough manager, and when we commented on November 20 during the infrastructure committee. Sixth, there are 2 concerns. One, that there was the infrastructure committee, one that only 3 residents were talking about this, because very few residents know. I'm finding out as we do the surveys. The concern was expressed by the infrastructure committee that a change in the plan could endanger the grant, yet the retaining walls around the perimeter of the parking lot are being removed. Thus, a change is being made. 7th, therefore, we propose that the Stonehouse parking lot 8 to 10 standard parking spaces also be removed from the plan.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments? Sir?
Not related to Stonehouse, the last 15.
That's not.
No, this is
Stonehouse
for the
only.
Stonehouse.
Sorry, you didn't mention it.
Mr. Jadik?
I wanted to add, since we're talking about the Stonehouse, I've been following a little bit this discussion, and I want to share their concern to the fact that this was kept under wraps for, what, 2 years? Yeah. And the fact that, and this is one of the things that I've always spoken here against, not letting the residents know, not consulting with residents. And I share that concern. I think this should have been done a little bit in conjunction with residents so that it's not such a huge surprise and you find out in this. Now, in terms of parking spaces, there is a debate. Of course, there's solutions, but the non-ADA, the stone house is rented to birthday parties for kids, and currently the kids are walking down the street. So there is something. It's not like they're useless. There is a reason for it. Now, 12 less, whatever, but it's not just ADA. So I think there is something, and we have to consider the fact that we have received this grant, and I would urge the council to do better next time in communicating with the residents. That's my comment. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Okay, first of all, thank you. Thank you for your passion. Let me first say, this plan was not drawn up overnight. Matter of fact, it's been 4 years, at least 4 years. This has been discussed at Park and Shade, it's been discussed at infrastructure, it's been discussed at finance, and it's been discussed at council meetings. So we're not hiding anything. As far as the petition goes, I will stand with what I believe is every other council member, and I will sign that petition. If that's what the parking lot is gonna look like.
Yes.
No, it's not funny. It's a retaining wall, okay, where this picture even came from. It's misleading, it's dishonest, and unappreciative.
If I may comment?
No, you may not.
Typical.
Okay, so you know, because we've never even seen this picture. It's interesting. So, you're misleading your petitioners. We are going to examine some possibilities, okay? But I guarantee you, the project's gonna go through. Okay? If you want, we're not gonna make another fence issue out, okay? Which I've already been heard, this is what it's been related to. This is ridiculous. All you're doing is drawing people in separate ways. Why? Okay? You have charged us by electing us to work for you, okay? And work for this community, and we do the best we possibly can, okay? If you don't like what we do, in 4 years, you can vote us out.
In 2, actually. 2 years.
Okay? So that's the way the process works, okay? What we have here, what we're doing is looking to better everything. We want to make the paths wider, okay? But in order to do this, in order to qualify for this money, there are certain ADA requirements, okay, that were given to us to do. So we need to follow those if we want $460,000. So, you made the question, sir, that, well, the physically handicapped do not come to the Stone House. Well, I beg to differ with you because I happen to see them at the lighting of the greens. So that is my comments on this. Any other council member have a comment?
No, my only comment to Mr. Berger, and I respect your opinions on all this stuff, but part of the other piece of this plan is that the lower part of the stone house will be accessible for the handicap accessible. So part of that will help us get there. So I think that's important to know. It's not just the top level. I get your point, and I understand.
I wouldn't be able to tell what I was reading there either, to be honest with you, but I just know that that is gonna be part of the discussion.
Can I make a statement of clarification regarding the retaining and boulder walls? Those are going by Old Man Echo. They're not going anywhere near the parking lot. Those are going along the stream bank to prevent erosion. There is no retaining wall that has ever been proposed around this parking lot. And I did not show you a plan that showed that. It showed down by Old Man Echo leading towards the bridge to the swimming pool, there are multiple large boulders and retaining walls going in to stop what is currently happening, which is the pathway eroding into the stream.
Michelle, do you want to explain how the grant operates and how any change, any significant change would have to be run through that grant process again, and maybe minor changes not?
Yes, and I mean, that would be up to the state's discretion. I would also argue the borough spent considerable money with the engineer and a consultant that did this study for us and came up with these plans and designed that parking lot specifically not only to meet the needs of running the stone house in the community, but also for ADA access, which is not only a grant requirement, it's a liability requirement, in that we at this moment could get sued by any ADA individual using our park system that is not able to access those facilities.
I guess I'd like to have one moment to just explain to you folks that when all of this started years ago, we didn't have the computer systems we have now that instantaneously gives you the minutes of all the things happening in the borough. And it's common sense that not everybody wakes up in the morning dying to come to a council meeting. So the fact that something has occurred that you didn't know about, you know about it now, not because we slipped it in, but because the modern way of doing things now is getting you all the information that you now have. And there's not anyone here at the table that wants to do anything that doesn't work down there. So, I know Michelle is making every effort to see what we can do to make this better. And now that we have your input, that may cause some things to happen, which might make you a little happier. But we all didn't run to get elected so we could hide something from you and then slip this in when you weren't awake one night and wake up in the morning and find 12 parking spaces. That didn't happen. So stay tuned.
Okay. Are there any other comments from the council on the matter? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to public comment as they relate to non-agenda items.
Coming here, I appreciate Mr. Hoffman explained the Sunshine Act and how it is implemented here. So as I understand, the Sunshine Act tells that everything which happens here, all items should be in the paper, in the report, and public comments can be sublimized to just subject, to some smaller details. Good. So my complaint was that the item was missing. The item which was introduced by Mr. Jenkins, seconded by the other member of the council, was a very important item and it is missing from the meeting. Secondly, the details that are here listed in the minutes, they are listed, but it's like Gregory Podolyarsky said that the light was green, but I said the light was red. This is the difference. When you say that some were allowed to move their cars and others were not allowed to move their cars, it's quite different. Some were allowed to stay and not being ticketed in no parking zone, which is cars from 47 Cardinal Road, and cars of Mr. Jedic were not allowed to move. He was ticketed immediately and ordered to move. What's the difference? The details are here, small details, but I think it's okay. You will realize it later. You have my paper, you can read it. Do you see this camera? You know why it's here? No. Mr. Jedic is recording all our meetings for many years now, and he is putting it online. It's another way to satisfy Sunshine Act. what I suggest that our website should be enhanced, having the link to the space online where Mr. Jelly uploading all his reports right now. First suggestion. I know you smile. I think it's the best decision that you can make. Or spend a little bit of money and start recording yourself and do it on the daily basis that everybody can see what and who is saying. It's doable. It's doable. Thank you.
Yes.
Dave Becker, 1821 Lincoln Avenue. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a lifelong resident of Lincoln Avenue. My grandkids are actually 6 generations in my family living on Lincoln. What I have to say tonight is I would like to thank the people sitting here for what they do. Mr. Mayor, Council, you guys have a tough, thankless job most of the time. Sitting at some of these meetings for the last few years, I see you try to keep our taxes in check, giving us the best possible quality of life in Wyomissing that you can, and myself and my family appreciate that. Moving down the table a little bit, Chief Phillips, you can be proud of yourself, you can be proud of your department, your officers, the outstanding job they do. Again, it's a thankless job, but some of us do appreciate it. And my grandkids, every time they get the opportunity, they like to talk to your officers. That's really made a big impression. Michelle, I mean, you do an outstanding job. You've come up through the ranks. Anytime I've had a question, you answered it. You know, told me where to get my answers if you couldn't give them to me yourself. I want to thank you for everything. Melissa, you've done a fine job too, anytime I needed something. So, that being said, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for your comment.
We're not gonna change the name of Lincoln Drive to Becker Drive.
You promised me.
Maybe later.
I want my money back.
Are there any other public comments this evening?
Very shortly. Number one, I wanted to congratulate the new elected members that are here. I think it's about time. I don't know if I did that before, but we congratulate now. We're congratulating. Second, I concur with my neighbor Greg, and I share his frustration. All he's asking is to issue the ticket just after the fact, just like it was done before. As he mentioned, 2 months. I was issued a ticket 2 months after the fact when there was no way I could have provided any proof of my innocence. Again, the policies, and I keep getting these reports, and I appreciate that you thank everybody, but we're not feeling the same thing. You know, people who are immigrants in this community are not treated the same as the Native Americans.
That's a right you have.
Yeah, no, they're not
Are you
treated the
addressing
same.
council or?
So, I'm making a public comment. Thank you. So, the policies continue to discriminate against immigrants and residents of other ethnicities. And I have another example just recently, 3 weeks ago, when a young driver was, treated completely discriminatory by our police. I'm not gonna get into that, but I see these policies keep going. I can talk in private with the chief. Mr. Hartman, you are always on the side of lesser transparency. So now we're gonna have even less summary of the public comments. I'm reminding of the time when you also used the law to justify for asking a right-to-know request for the agendas for the meeting. And it took an action from the governor to tell you that you must have it 2 days before the meeting. There's the whole saga at the Office of Open Records for me complaining about this nonsense. So, and Finally, I want to speak against the status quo of where two neighbors and best buddies literally control the bar. You're the head of a finance committee, Steve. You're the head of infrastructure committee. Mr. Jenks is council president. He's also head of fire and police committee. Everything that moves in this borough, two good friends. It's time to change this. Everything that moves. And you're architect of discriminatory policies preferential to your friends, and I have brought these things up over and over again. You can smile all you want, but this is what you've done. And there is plenty of record. And speaking of transparency, yes, I agree with Greg. You have discussed about making your own videos and putting them online. Why don't you do this? Reading, City of Reading does that. I'm not coming here for pleasure. I'm coming here to keep you accountable, to show what exactly was said, not what distortions you're putting in the minutes, and make them publicly available for everybody to see it. That's why I'm coming since 2019 here, not because I have nothing better to do with my life. Okay? Thank you very much.
Okay, are there any other public comments this evening? Not before we adjourn, just have a quick thing I'd like to say. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my fellow council members, along with all of the borough staff and employees, on another positive year for the borough and its residents. While there may always be people who choose to criticize us, we will always strive to do our best for all the residents of Wyomissing and continuing to make the community better while remaining financially responsible. We have worked hard as a team, and I look forward to all of us continuing our teamwork efforts in 2024. Happy holidays to all.
Merry Christmas.
So now I'll entertain a motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor? Opposed? We're done.